Welcome everybody to another week of UGC Plat Highlander here on EVLTV. Tonight I'm joined by Dashner and our good friend mustardoverlord. How's it going, Mustard?
Pretty good. Haven't casted Highlander in a while, and I'm glad that of all the maps this season I could get Upward because, it's a hood classic.
One of the better maps. Definitely one of the better maps to watch and have some good action on. Tonight we've got Ban Paals versus the pyongyang. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is week 4. I think both of these teams doing pretty well this season. Had some unexpected losses, I think, last week, but I haven't got to see any of them in action. You got any insight for us?
Okay, both teams are 1 and 2, and people might be wondering why we chose a match that was not the 3-0 teams, but the 3-0 matches are a little deceptive this week because a lot of them are like strength of schedule based and not all that close, and this match should be one of the more evenly matched ones, so we're hoping to see some pretty tight under-the-wire actions. And as for teams, I rang a couple times for our red team over here, the Tiptoes team, pyonggang, and I would say that a couple players on their team to watch out for would be Jufro on Scout and Napalm on Sniper. I think those two are definitely their strongest DM players. They have a couple players who are more wild cards, but those two should be really good. And I think they need to sometimes work on keeping their medic alive, which could be really costly on Payload. I haven't played with the team on Blue, but obviously I recognize a lot of their names. So do you think we should go through the lineups right about now?
Yeah, sounds good. You want to take Blue?
Sure. On Blue, we have Yosh ringing Scout for Sissel, whose internet is apparently out. We have Mafio on Soldier, Melon on Pyro, Arch on Demo, Pete the Plumber on Heavy, Yip Yapper, who's tagged up as Ketchup Underlord, very original, on Engineer, Takram on Medic. We have, they're switching around, TF2 and Chill with Feint, which is Feint, on Sniper, and Interests on Spy.
It seems you got a lot of fans in the server today. Everyone just tagged up as Mustard on the red team. But over there on Spy, we've got Bordy. I think Napalm's on Sniper. I'm not sure what Jufro is playing. Luxor is going to be playing Engineer?
I believe so.
4 demo men over there. This is nice and confusing. Love when players do this.
I can break it down for you.
Please do. You know these players better than I.
So Jufro is going to be Scout. Tixif is going to be Soldier. Spring Rolls on Pyro. Just in Time is the medic main is trying his hand at Demo Man this season. Teapot is playing Heavy. I don't know if he's permanently replaced Lazy Dane, but that was who they had last time. But he's here now. Luxor filling in as Engineer. I don't know if they even have a normal Engineer. They're a bit of a confusing team. Tiptoes on Medic, Napalm on Sniper, and Bordy on Spy.
Seems like a lot of off-classing from people's typical mains right now. Looking at the Saloon stats, it looked like Pyongyang were 70% to win this. Who do you think? Who are you picking? I know you rank for one of these teams, so you might be a little bit biased.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I would say that I think it's tough to say. I actually always thought Interest was a little underrated on Spy, so I think he could be sort of a difference maker. I think, you know what, honestly, this is going to be the most biased answer I can possibly give.
Go for it.
But I feel like my old DRS teammate Tix could make a big difference. He used to be a very, very good soldier back in the day. The last couple seasons, he's just been, ringing for gold teams, playing a match here and there. And I don't know if his heart's really been into it, but when he's on his game, you can expect to see some very creative loadouts and high-impact plays. He always used to put out very surprisingly high damage numbers on Payload maps. So if he can have a really good game, especially on that red side, he could be really good. I think that both teams, you would have given the medic advantage to the team on the blue, the Ban Paals, if they had Metaway playing, but with their, I guess, former substitute medic coming in to start, I heard Metaway can't play this season. I think that's sort of nullified. So I feel like it's probably more the story of the flank classes in this one. Just in Time is a better demo man than I had originally thought. He can put out some decent damage too, and he probably has good calls. So I might give a slight combo edge to the team on the red. I don't know. I don't know if I could be tied down to a prediction over here. I think I'm going to give it to red because Napalm, is a sniper main. He's a lifer. And Feint is a spy main, and he's an incredibly good spy. I felt like when he was playing, he was the best right behind Akuma. But on Sniper, he's less experienced. He does have some skills, but I feel like Napalm, being a sniper man for so long, and in like low to mid platinum for such a long time at Blunderful, I think he can really put his mark on the game. So I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1 to a red team.
2-1 to the red team? I could have to. We usually want to disagree, so we have a little bit of competitive rivalry. But I think it's going to be close, maybe even a tie. A tie at this point. But like they've got so much medic experience on there that making up for the non-medical main, like I think it can make up for that, but it's going to be close regardless. A lot of decent players on both these teams. I think we have everyone on the server right now is kind of waiting on them to go live. You said that they believe that one of these teams has a ringer?
Oh yeah, Yosh is ringing for Sissel on Scout on the blue team because Sissel's internet is apparently out. I feel like Yosh is a bigger name, being a big sniper main and an invite scout, technically speaking. But I don't know. I feel like Sissel is a very underrated player, although he's very passive on scout. Yosh is going to be more aggressive, so I feel like if the other team can deal with him, it could actually be a downgrade. But if they can't, I feel like it could be a serious upgrade. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to expect in this one. I hate to be the guy who says it just comes to who can integrate their like ringers and backups better, but you know, sometimes that's what it is.
Yeah, Yosh definitely. I think he can give an edge to this team. It'll definitely give him a little bit of a one-up if he can actually kind of fall into that synergy. Although when it comes to Highlander, it's really kind of hard to mesh that in together with a team that's been playing together for a while. Do you know which these teams have been playing together the longest?
Well, it depends on individual players, because I know you have players on each team, and as we've gone live in setup time, by the way, with Pyongyang starting on the red and Ban Paals on the blue, with the former tag dip as Mustard and the latter tag dip as Overlord. Thank you guys. But at least it's nice and uniform looking. Yeah, I think both teams have little like groups of players that have played together a lot. Like I know Just in Time and Jufro have played together a lot of times. Tiptoes has played with a couple of these players in gold before. And on the blue team, I know that Interests obviously played on Blunderful with Mafio. I think Arch may have played with a couple of them in gold a couple of times. I think Melon might have played with Pete the Plumber. Both of them are more of groups of friends than, you know, long-established teams, so both of them have players who, like, little groups of them that play together. As, why don't you take the post-setup action?
Yeah, it looks like Red Team is set up in the equal spot, holding a little further back than usual, just kind of have the Sentry gun set on that slope. As Blue Team starts pushing out onto this cart, and they're holding pretty far back, kind of passive. Kind of watching the napalm camera right now, seeing what he can do with this. Imagine he's going to get the first pick. Big problem by the demo, but it's a little bit of splash damage, but immediately goes down as Tix gets that black box follow-up on that damage, and he craters a little bit too hard.
Nice defense by Red, making sure that their medic didn't get forced in a bad position. Although we do see some decent card pushing by Blue. It'll be interesting to see if they go for another suicide as Interest gets Tix. That means that in theory their demo could jump pretty easily. It looks like they're just walking off Uber though. I was going to say he can jump up on the platform for free without dying to the soul. So they are committing with this. Let's see how successful their Uber can be.
That was a big play by Tix, snuck around. I didn't even get to catch that, but he's going for the Sentry gun right now. Gets a little sap on. Engineer running over there right now. Oh, goes for the stab, does not quite get this. Jufro comes and cleans up on the damage. Blue Team's still pushing that cart though, used it as a nice distraction. And getting plenty of cart time for free right here, but it's all about that last push. That Sentry gun taking damage right now.
They never got the gun, and I feel like had they gotten the gun, they could have potentially inched the cart a little farther forward, but they lost so many players and didn't get the gun, so it wasn't worth it. They're going to reset. It's actually, I would say on this map, better to push non-Uber than to wait for Uber again, so I'd like to see Blue do that. They do have better spawns. As Interest's uncloaking on the hill, I want to see if he goes for the Engineer. They can coordinate like a sap and set, but looks like Blue Team's waiting for Uber. I'm actually not a huge fan of this. It gives the Red Team more time to get set up again.
They did have a little bit of hard time to push initially, so it's not gonna average out pretty well. But yeah, at the same time, I kind of agree with you. Bordy was going for a play right there. Nope, he got caught up a little bit. They can't find him. He's got to come behind this heavy medic combo as they push on the right side there, moving towards mid. 100% Uber right now. Napalm gets a big kick on Yosh. It's gonna free up the push a little bit. Oh!
Takram gets backstabbed, and then Arch is just in a terrible position without his medic. Nice play by Bordy, who then actually headshots the Engineer on the blue team. This is a lockdown hold for Red, so... And that was a disastrous push. I actually liked the right side push, but not only did Napalm snipe a couple people right before it, but then their medic drops to a spy. Not the best to play.
Yeah, gotta shout out to Bordy right there. He really played that watch, played that slow, waited the exact perfect moment, and just about to push, pop that Uber off. So it's gonna definitely give a couple more minutes to Red Team, and let Blue Team pushes without Uber, which they really need to at this point.
Napalm's going ham. He actually, to cheat and look at the stats, he already has 5 kills, which is very good. Fate does get the counter stab though. I'd like to see them try to force the Red Team's Uber here. They're actually at Uber disadvantage because they never managed to force Tiptoes, but I'd like to see them, use their sniper pick to get a little bit closer for free, maybe force them with spam. See if they can do that.
Yosh was peeking up top there, kind of having a little 1v1 with the heavy, and actually came out of it alive. I was really impressed right there. Blue has really good positioning right now. Looks like the sentry has gone down. They're backing up.
Uber was finally forced.
Very nice.
Blue actually has an Uber advantage for second, which is really good. However, this Uber advantage will only mean something if they can get their cart pushed consistently the whole way. If they trade Ubers but the cart is still all the way near the end of the tunnel, it won't be that convenient. So I'd like to see what they can do here. Is Red trying to do a bit of a forward build? It looks like they are. This could be pretty dangerous.
They had to set up a sentry up there. It looked like they were going to try and have a nice forward hold, which I don't see too often on this map. No, they pushed it back to the usual spot over there on the patio. And cart is being pushed right up the hill, backed off. They see something maybe? No, Yoshi's just kind of single-man pushing the cart right now. No real contestant, but Napalm's wall looking right at him.
Blue still has Uber advantage, but they have to make it work soon because it's dwindling. Let's see how much they can get of this. The sniper's actually revved up Napalm. He does go down. That's actually a really big pick, but they do get forced in the meantime. They have to get the gun here at the very end. Oh, no.
They're backing up. No. Had to flash one too many players right there and could not get the time off. With the counter Uber here by Red, but nothing else. Everyone's going to go back, reset, charge up everything again, looks like. Meanwhile, go for it.
Okay, I'd like to give a shout out to Tix, who actually, while that Uber was going on, got on the cart and killed everyone who was capping, which is incredibly powerful. If they don't have that cap time during the Uber, it kind of goes haywire. Bordy gets a nice stab at Mafia, but I feel like the real problem with that push was that they just did not coordinate anything on the gun other than their demo, so the Pyro was just able to reflect everything away. Nice mix by Blue. They can maybe edge the cart here, but again, they really have to coordinate better to take down this gun. Because if that gun goes down, the defensive positioning for Red is not that good, being stuck on that, like, around the corner. It's very hard to hold.
Yeah, Arcade's backed up off that Uber, almost put some great damage on. They just throw 3-man up in that window actually to get him off, though he's all the way back at respawn. Just got back with his team now. Throwing down bodies in front of his sentry gun. Just
bit of a backdoor play by T on defense, pushing around the corner with the Natasha revved up, gets backstabbed instantly, but nice stab. That was a really well coordinated push. Didn't even have to use Uber, and that's the thing. Uber isn't as important there as getting the sap on the gun, because it's not good positioning without a sentry. You're just stuck in that corner.
Right now, Red without a medic, they're pushing in here pretty much for free. Tick trying to get some damage up, and he's forced to back up as they kind of pile in through this house here.
Tix is still playing very aggressive. This is risky. If he can get a force up early, it's good, but I'm not so sure he can. He's trying to flee. Oh, he does blow the conch, another weapon Tix is really known for on this map, for those of us who have experience. And Blue pops the Uber very early. Yeah. They are getting the gun, but their demo's kind of alone here. This is not good. This kind of, to be honest, this is the problem with the Ringer Scout. If Yosh was on the same page as the other team, you definitely want to take a Scout in that Uber. If there's no gun, you can just chase down the kill. They are getting them anyways, though, such as Highlander.
Exactly. I'm kind of going to force off that Uber. I saw Heavy nearby, but didn't see any big damage being put out. Meanwhile, oh god, Interest was going back for a play, kind of set up, or get some insight on that gun. It's not even being put up yet. Surprisingly, they're waiting on the engineer spawn. 9 seconds. There's going to be a lot of free time as they push this cart up the hill to this last point, start piling players into upper.
The combo's already on top. Yeah, they're getting some good damage down.
Oh,
good job. nice save by Art. What I really liked about that push by Blue is even though their Uber wasn't that good, they got their whole flank in sort of that left room, like underneath the drop down, and once you take over that area as Blue, it's really hard for the red team to hold the third point. So, good work by them sort of pinstering. They didn't get a great Uber, but they used the Uber to take positioning on the other side of the map. And now they have a huge Uber advantage. Tiptoes is still down. The gun is going up. Can they get this Uber far enough in to make it useful, or is the gun just going to stop them? That's what I want to see.
No, Interest is on it, right? Oh, it's taken. Oh, doesn't even need to get on it because the rockets take it out. He's going to pick off just in time.
Yeah, nice. Really
comes from behind on the combo right now. Gets a little bit of damage out, but can't quite get them down. It's looking like the player advantage really is on Blue's side right now. They're pushing hard up. Got to back off a little bit because this heavy medic pyro combo just in time got over there.
They still do have the Uber, though. They're popping it now. I like the play by their combo to try to take the Uber all the way to the spawn, but their medic does get air blasted away. However, it might not matter. Interest is some really good backstabs right there. And I think this is definitely going to be a red push. I mean a blue push rather. I really don't see Red being able to hold on to it.
Just in time was put some stickies on the cart, but as soon as he went down, they got on it and it was over. It's not too bad of a time right there.
Yeah, it's I think it's actually a better time than it looks. 7:26 isn't an insanely fast time, but they did accelerate near the end, and I think it's more important to be able to cap the last couple points, especially the final point, really quickly. So that's a good sign for them, especially if they get a good last hold. I think they had some very questionable, uncoordinated Uber pushes.
Yeah.
But what Blue always did well was every time they took a point, they went into the next one with their medic still alive, ready to like use an Uber advantage on the next point. So they were able to kind of chain some ground together. They never got one cap, but then just got stalled at the next one. They kind of kept the momentum going once they started capping. I do think that Interest started playing a much bigger role in the game near the second half of the round. He was getting really crucial saps, and he was getting some nice backstabs on the pushes as well. I was very impressed by him. I'm checking the stats. I'm cheating now, and Interest is on Spy is actually top fragging for our now defending team with 10 kills. So impressive by him.
Yeah, Ban Paals have some really coordinated sentry push. Like Interest got in there, sapped just at the right time as all the damage came up from the explosive classes. It was perfectly executed twice there. And really nice to see. He did die in both of those firefights, but he did what he needed to do. And then came back up, got some really good frag. You know, looking at this hold, looks like the exact hold we saw last time. Since already taken some major rockets just in time for Edgy to get over there and heal it up. Right on that restoration.
I don't know if you see what Tix did. He ran the parachute and the DH, jumped in the air and shot DH rockets down at the sentry from his own spawn while parachuting. That's very interesting. I guess only a really, really smart sniper could stop that from working. That's actually a really cute play by Tix. Really well done by him.
I haven't seen anything like that before.
That's the kind of innovation. And he just got a direct rocket on the medic from across the map that forces him to pop. Brutal. Actually, Ubers were traded. So
I've seen that directed work.
Anyway.
Yeah, so one of those maps, we haven't seen a lot of big soldier plays the past couple weeks. Oh god, big stab there on Teapot as they try and push on that car. Another second all on Juke. I don't even know how he got that one. That looked a little wonky on my side. But that's going to give free push right now as they're forced to back up. That's kind of poor timing right there. No, Yoshi does come back in.
Still might cap it, but Interest did delay them. Every second matters, and they did lose a lot of momentum. But Tix bombs in and kills the medic! I didn't see that, but it does have the mini-crit logo, so he must have been at least a couple inches off the ground.
Very nice with that direct hit. I've got to start watching that more and more because as I was saying, I haven't seen a lot of big soldier plays lately, but this is a huge skybox. Lots of great little bomb spot, and Tix is taking advantage of that, so we're going to have to pay more attention to him. Right now, 2x on the card, and
as a former Highlander soldier main, I do have to say that the loss of the black box, you know, after the nerf really hurt the class a little bit. But this is an interesting forward hold by Red. They do have the wrangled sentry at the end of the tunnel, but they are lacking in Uber. The Uber advantage is going to come in for Blue. It remains to be seen how much they can do with it. And is their demo caught up before the Uber barely gets saved? They were Ubered a little defensively, though.
Yep, Yosh ran up there, got a nice shot on Tips. Backed off immediately, but that sentry gun had to be pulled back, and I wanted to see that forward work. They didn't have the player position up on the rocks right there.
I mean, the Uber advantage, Blue got forced in kind of a bad position, so I thought it could still be okay, but then Red, you know, kind of didn't take what they had. They didn't back up. They still couldn't deal with the Uber.
Yeah, right now, they couldn't even hold off Patio, so that sentry went down, so that's going to give them the second point for pretty much free.
And they did get the scout and the soldier, so there's not a lot of people who can stop the cart from pushing here. Red has Uber advantage, but I think Blue can push the cart really far before Red gets all their respawns, and maybe they could even force them with spam. Let's see how close Red is playing.
Yeah, force that was kind of a perfect time to mention that. It's a magical sticky game and hit poor attack from right in the face. The healer up efficiently now, but still taking a little bit of sticky damage. They're just kind of in a bad position here. Maybe they're just kind of posturing to go in and kind of a more offensive play, but let's see.
Red is putting a lot of pressure on the cart, even rotating their demo over there. I'd like to see Blue try to punish that more. Bring your combo a little closer to the cart and spam that demo. Either he dies or the medic has to pop to save him. If the red team's going to be playing that aggressive, I really want to see Blue. Either that or they could just, buff up their sniper and try to give him a nice shot. But they have to, kind of punish red team for playing this aggressively on third.
I like seeing it, but Yoshi's getting on those overheals, running in there, getting some meat shots. He took out like 2 players. The rest of the damage was cleaned up by the soldier over there, Mafio. Right now they got 2 players on the card, and it looks like Red's a little confused what they're doing. Todd was just standing still there, took a couple stickies for free. They're looking a little hesitant.
Yeah, I'd like to see Blue try to use their Uber while they're getting the distraction on the cart. Their combo is kind of playing a little too passive. I feel like they're almost baiting their flank. If their flank dies on the cart, this will not be their fault. It'll be the fault of the combo. They are gradually getting ground, but
Yosh goes down and starts putting some aggression onto that card, and got a quick shot up on board. He takes out Luxor. He's being really cheeky. I'm not sure what they were trying to say, but Uber does come out. from both teams. Not a whole lot gained from it. This is kind of a repeat of just the past couple Ubers. Not a lot of ground being made, not a lot of frags being used.
I feel like Red had a bit of a better opportunity there. Oh, I just noticed Interest took down Tiptoes. Good backstab by the defensive spy. But Blue is still getting a lot of kills in cap time. This is what I was going to say. Red had an opportunity. They had a much better Uber. If they took a couple more offensive classes like Soldier Scout to finish chasing, they could have gotten a lot more, but it was still just on Arch, and he was kind of just staring there sort of placidly, despite his better Uber, which gave Blue time to get the cart. But Mafio, really nice bomb on the cart, taking down the Engie and the Scout. However, Bordy does get the Engineer. The gun should go down very quickly for now, and this is going to be a blue point eventually.
Yeah, Bordy going in was about to start savage, but it got taken out by the Demo Man just in time as they move up on the cart, start pushing players in the up just in time, and the medic as well as Tiggs kind of going up there. They find the Pyongyang, the Ban Paals combo up there as well. Oh god,
no.
Dashner going down!
Nice play. I was about to say, it'll be very hard for them to cap this last point with an actual full Uber to defend, but nope. It wasn't as much of a full Uber as I thought. And that's just poor play by Red, letting the Demo walk in up top for free like that. I don't understand how that even happened. But
yeah, Tucker pushing himself in that corner is not a place you want to be as a medic, and they're just pushing this card in. A little bit of a play by Mafio and Yoshi. You're getting a little aggressive, but they need to back up, give their engineer time to get that level 2 up to level 3, and to get their overheals up because their health is not looking good right now. Uber comes out from just in time. There's nobody there to defend it. Pyro is nowhere to be seen. Sentry gets pulled back. And they are behind. Oh, Interest trying to go for a play right now. Hits a couple Deagle body shots. Or Deagle, sorry. Andy body shot. It's like much CSGO later. Basically the same weapon. It looks like he may have timed out. Was just standing still right there as he went down.
This is getting a bit scrappy. It looks like a reset. And the one thing I want to point out on this map, if I feel like I have a couple seconds of time, is that with the buffs on the Engineer wrenches, it's actually even more overpowered the gun spot right next to spawn. And it lets you rebuild that gun on Red really fast. But it might not matter with Teapot and Spring Rolls killing a bunch of people on there. This is getting really scrappy. I mean, both teams realize how little time is left, but it looks like Blue, with their better spawn advantage, is eventually going to get into this. And I think they won this first round. Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Yep actually did a last-ditch effort to go into mini-sentry right there, but nothing quite was made of it.
I have to be honest, I don't know if it's me not having enough respect for these teams, but I thought I had a low in time because I didn't think they were going to push non-Uber, but it proved to be the right call, you know. When the Uber's out of the equation, if the gun's not fully set up yet, you know, you can walk in, get on the cart, and make them come down and fight you. And with only a minute left, if they had waited for Uber, would have been, what, 40 seconds left after the Ubers are over? What, 35 seconds? And like that's an even bigger gamble, so, you know, makes sense.
Definitely a great push over there by Ban Paals, who was not predicted to win this. Saloon.tf had, I think, Pyongyang at like 71%, so once again, week after week, our expectations and the viewer predictions kind of being skewed a little bit. Like seeing it's been a close.
I'm taking a quick look at the stats, and it's kind of interesting because in certain categories, the losing team in that round, I guess Ban Paals or Overlord as they're going here, was actually leading. Arch actually vastly top damaging as Demo Man. Interest having a really good game as Spy, at least in the first half. He kind of slowed down in on that defensive half. And Takram actually died only half as many times as Tiptoes. But Blue was able to still win, and I think it's just their non-Uber pushes were better towards that end. You know, they really kind of accelerated there, and, you know, sometimes that's enough. And, I don't know, it's tough to glean a lot from the stats because you usually don't see more damage done by the team that lost the round considerably, but that seems to be what happened. So, a bit interesting.
Definitely a bit surprising. We've got teams switching over now. Waiting for our...
I actually did notice a stat that I think is more illuminating than people might realize if we look at the logs, which is that the Red Engineer, the engineer on the losing team, Yip Yapper, actually died almost twice as many times as Luxor on Pyongyang, who won the round, and I think that that's really huge on this map. I don't know if it was good coordinated pushes or any backstabs or sniper picks, or if it was just Yip Yapper being out of position, but if your engineer dies more than twice the amount as the other engineer, that's almost like your medic dying twice as much because it enables them to non-Uber kind of get more points and more ground than they would otherwise in transition, rather than slowing down the game and buying you more time. So, you know, it really enables the offensive team to cap a lot faster. Pretty simple.
If I had to what caused them that loss, it was that forward hold on second. It's just trying to go for that kind of cheeky play, looking down tunnel. They could have held it back and recalled it, but they never got the timing quite right, so they never had that chance to set up on patio, and even though they had a good defense on third, stalling them out in house, they didn't make up enough time for that second hold.
I will be honest, though. I think Red still would have won it had Takram not gone down up top at last in that really disappointing time. I mean, I feel like if the medic is going to be around there, he needs his. I don't know if Arch was dead yet, or maybe they were getting there one at a time because they were just spawning and they thought they had enough time to set up there, and a couple people were just coming out of spawn. But if you have no one watching the front stairs, that's usually on that hold you have your demo man kind of committing to those wooden spiral stairs, and then your heavy will watch the metal stairs on the other side, maybe with a pyro or something watching any soldier who bombs up top or someone else around there. And then maybe that spot wouldn't have been as bad for the medic, but they literally let Just in Time walk up top for free. I don't know if they didn't expect Blue to be there that quickly, but you have to expect a decent team to know, okay, we definitely have third capped. It's not technically capped yet, but it's going to happen. So we can start moving our combo up and see if we can take ground before they're set up. And they were just not anticipating it at all.
Well, if we've seen anything from the past couple weeks of UGC Platinum, people have learned from their mistakes. And I'm expecting them to cut a minute off their time in each of these and having a good little contest.
You know, as Just in Time is, he has been the entire game, and I didn't point it out, but he's running, what's that weapon called? The Iron Bomber? Or the newish demo primary? I actually don't even know because I've never really used it myself, but I don't know if it's actually better or if it's just kind of a fun thing that he's doing, if he's trying it out, but that's a little interesting.
Hope he's off-glassing, probably having a little bit of fun. I have never used it myself either. I'm surprised that it's being used, especially. Isn't the loose cannon still whitelisted in Highlander?
I think it got banned. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it just got banned recently.
Okay, it's kind of good to hear. It was devastating some teams in the back.
Yeah, and an important point about the loose cannon, a lot of people realize that it's more overpowered in Highlander because of the classes like Heavy that can't react to it very well. Another point, though, is that I would say that the three maps in Highlander where it's most powerful are Upward, Gully Wash, and Viaduct, which also happen to be probably the three most played maps in Highlander. So I think it's a big factor that the maps that the teams, let me put it this way, the maps that teams will choose to scrim intentionally in the off-season, you know, more often than not, are the maps that it's run on, you know, those staple maps in Highlander, which makes it really difficult for a lot of the flank classes. So I kind of agree with that, man.
Who's been your favorite player so far? We've seen a lot of big plays by everybody, but
it's tough to say because originally my favorite was Interest for almost single-handedly giving his team, like salvaging his team's time on Blue, even though they lost the round. But I feel like I have to give it to someone on the team that actually ended up winning. I'm going to go with Just in Time. His damage actually was lower than Arch, but I believe he had more kills and fewer deaths, and it just looked like a couple of the times he made a bit of a heads-up play. Like, you can tell, I'm pretty sure he main calls overall for the team. Tiptoes helps a little bit. But you could tell that with Just in Time's high plat experience, he called a couple of very aggressive pushes that I don't think would have happened otherwise. First of all, chasing as hard as they did when they got forced in a originally defensive position to destroy that forward hold on second. And then up top when he killed that medic, I mean, obviously that was all him calling that and realizing that he could get in that far. And then I guarantee you that non-Uber push at the end when he realized it would be better to just go then than to wait for both teams to have it and to get the gun back set back up, I guarantee you that was a just-in-time call as well. It's often hard to figure out how much a main caller can contribute because it's
true.
It's you know, it's not something that's visible, doesn't show up on the scoreboard, but it's such an important and underrated aspect of TF2. And Just in Time is definitely the most experienced caller in the server, so I think it's interesting when you can actually see that sequence of the play, and I feel like you could there.
As for me, though, I'd have to give it to Tix. Pulling out the direct hit, that initial play where he was bombing down on the sentry gun from his own spawn, that was quite interesting to see. And then having a lot of medic damage, really direct hit kills. So
yeah, I actually
made it exciting.
I almost forgot about him because after that direct hit kill, he actually picked the medic on Cliff, which was the reason his team had an Uber advantage in the first place going in a second, which is when they caught the other team out doing the forward hold. So that's actually an even bigger play now that I think about it. So he's definitely someone to watch. Now I will say, I personally believe that the team that starts red is generally, they have a bit of an advantage because first of all, red is generally more fun and more comfortable, so they get to kind of settle in. And then just the impetus of having to beat a time is psychologically helpful. Like if you know you only have 45 seconds left, it forces even the more passive players on your team to kind of be on the same page. So I prefer to start on red, and the team that started on red won last round, so let's see how it goes this time.
That's typically my experience as well. It seems that the common opinion is that people like to push at their own time, but I love that first kind of whole put your feet in the ground, draw the line, this is what it's going to be. But doors have opened up, players are coming out, 40 sneaking around behind, but so far just a little bit of posture. He takes going for that direct hit jump again.
He hit the scout by accident, that was kind of funny.
Smart little body block there.
The engineer did wrangle this time to avoid it destroying the gun instantly, but Tix is just relentless, and eventually the engineer could die really easily if he has to keep wrangling the gun this early on. So I'd like to see their sniper or spy try to take advantage of that.
Yeah, he's just doing the same thing. He's putting rockets in that. I saw Mafio actually went and took a body shot, or took a body rocket just for that sentry.
Fate had to back up. I would like to see Fate had to back up all the way on the hill just to deal with Tix's plan. I would have liked to see their team take advantage of that by getting out a little bit farther, because I don't think he could see much else. I'm actually of the opinion that if your combo can make it sort of to the right side from the blue team's perspective on this first point, it's a lot easier to push. It's just that it's very difficult to do that if their sniper's still holding on playground, because he has such an easy sightline as you run across. So if you can force their sniper that far back, it gives you so much free ground. The Ubers are traded here. Red team's Uber's a little better, but Tix did get the gun during the Uber, so really nice work by him again. And I think, yeah, Red is just running away.
Good plan, I'd say. It's really like not quite the position they would want to try and set up. They didn't have a player advantage or position-wise. Meanwhile, Mafio jumps in, chasing some of the right people. Well, Fate goes down to a big direct hit.
Nice work by Tix and Jufro in transition. They're really syncing up well. And it's very important that Takram doesn't die in this transition. His team has to keep him alive. I know Blue is going to get a lot of decent ground here with those picks. They have to, unfortunately, give up the hill and just hope to hold back around the corner. It's not ideal when your team gets forced into that situation, but hopefully they can make something happen, as Arch does go down, so I don't think they're going to hold second for that much longer, to be honest.
I def it just in time, throwing some stickies around that corner. They've had to back the sentry gun up to a not ideal position. I think it's just a couple feet too far back. And meanwhile, Tix is still raining down rockets with that direct hit and parachute combo. I've not seen this. I'm loving seeing it. Yep, there it goes. Finally, some shared damage from just in time, and Tix take out that sentry gun. They're going to roll this cart on through as they push in the house. They lose their pirate and back their combo, but a red pops off the Uber, forces the counter Uber here, and it looks like Tipto's trying to get connect to Justin. Justin's going to start peeking in there and throw some sticky. It gets them back out of that house now. It's going to be pretty fast time for a second, I'd say.
I think more good calls from just in time, realizing we don't have to use Uber right away. We don't have to wait for it. We can just use our player advantage to bully them around the corner, and then we'll get free capped. They just protected their playing classes on the card and kind of bullied Red out. Eventually the Ubers were traded, but it was kind of too late for Red. I don't think it was really worth it for them. And now we see the blue team getting a lot of early ground. The gun's only level 1, but Interest does take down just in time. He's actually been, for me, the best player on the so far losing team. He's had some really crucial picks.
Ooh, nice direct pipe there by Arch on the T-Plot. They were rolling that cart up with that, but they knew that just in time went down, and they took advantage of that, and they're getting a little bit more. His Interest just barely escapes with his life. He's going to go find some sort of flank play. He's chasing after Jufro has gone underneath for a flank right now.
Yeah, nice kill by Yoshi. Let's see if he can, hopefully he can get out. It's good for him to go for these plays if he can achieve them, but it's also damaging to lose your players on defense because they spawn in so much of a longer time. This is a nice play by Red. They realize that the cart isn't that far away from where the combo holds, so they shouldn't give the blue team any free cap time if the blue's combo is still all the way around in the house. And for Blue's point, they really need to make room. I'd like to see them try to spam out the players on Red who are standing on that sort of left side wooden platform, like the soldier over there, and then try to walk up that hill. They just have to watch out for Sniper. Actually, Napalm takes down the Sniper, so yeah, this is really nice play. Tix making room for his team. They're taking over this wooden area, which is... Oh, but I don't agree with that force. I don't think he needed to pop there.
That took advantage of that feint pick. They were going to be really aggressive right there. But just Justin Knight gets picked by Interest again. Was definitely
he turned around too. Interest circled straight around him. It wasn't a face tap. He literally just ran around as Justin Knight turned. That was really nice. Spy mechanics, as it were.
Yeah. Ooh, I thought Blue was actually going to take this at first, but no. Mafio jumps and gets a rocket. Yosh being really aggressive and takes out Tix as well. Blue's kind of bleeding some players right here. And Uber advantage is definitely going to be on the side of these team names up. But the Overlord team was actually Ban Paals?
Yes.
Pyongyang.
No, you were right the first time.
Okay.
Overlord is Ban. And I have to call out Tiptoes for that, unfortunately. His team was getting so much ground for free, but just a little bit of errant spam knocked him down to about 80 health, 70 health, and Itchy Trigger Finger, he just popped completely around the corner. His team wasn't anywhere close to Red, and enabled Red to have a better counter Uber. If he had just milked it a little bit longer, which I really think he could have, I think they could have took ground without having to use, but now it's kind of a reset, and they got the first 2 points so quickly that they have a little bit of leeway, but considering the pace of this game so far, where teams have been having more trouble near the beginning, I think that they really have to get this on the next couple pushes.
And they're pushing in with Uber right now. Pyro gets Ubered as well from the other team. Air blasting everyone away just in time, completely separated from his medic. Tiptoe's being forced back. Nothing really gained there. God, just in time.
Nice work
Shack.
Nice work by the two snipers of red. Interest also with the enemy headshot on the enemy sniper. And Arch needs some help defending this card. His team has so many players alive. They really need to help him get on this card. And he goes down. Yosh does take down the demo in return, but I don't know, a little bit questionable from my point of view. I mean, look at all the free cap time that Jufro got. That's not very acceptable.
Not at all right now. It was a little bit more of an aggressive play by Mafia, who's going in, trying to take out Jufro, who's been quite aggressive as well, but Jufro goes down with 10, 20 health, has to run back.
Smart play by Mafia, also realizing that there's no point in him chasing for that kill. It's more important that he lives. I mean, I think the risk at first was fine, and he knew when it was time to get out. But the card's so far pushed here. I'd like to see Blue really try to. I guess they can wait for Uber here, but I'd like to see them definitely get capped out at the same time. And they're forcing Arch to move so far forward here. I think he needs to be punished for this more. If Arch has to run all the way forward to defend the card. But Red sort of out DMing Blue. Blue getting forced in a really bad position. Red doesn't even have to use it. They actually have it. They have it now. But this should be almost a complete wipe for Blue if they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Their only hope now is to go for a med pick on Takram, but I don't think they're going to be able to. They just don't have the players.
They're being really aggressive going up that hill. They're kind of a dry push. Maybe they saw the position was kind of in their favor, but it was only there for a second. As soon as they started taking splash damage, they got immediately back down. And Tiptoes had to get forced and lost her demo, or their demo, I should say. And then was like Ubering his demo. It was Ubering the poor Pyro, who was actually on the card right there. That could have potentially been a cap had that flash not gone off.
I feel
a good bit of a mess.
The blue team's flank is being very aggressive, trying to get cap time, but their team isn't really helping them. And I feel like I actually would blame the combo of Blue more. Jufro does inch the cap, which is really smart of him. Tiptoes does go down to interest, which is huge, but this still doesn't mean that that Ban Paals can hold this forever, because the spawn is so much closer now. Eventually they're going to have to give this up. They're still holding a little aggressively for now with the Uber, but it's not going to be able to last. This is a very odd situation, half cart, but complete Uber advantage for Red. You don't see this very often.
No. They're getting back up right now. Ooh, Plumber goes down to a big meat shot by Jufro, who gets a second kill on the mob. He is on a streak right now. He's running down to get that health back. He's probably going to go for a little bit of a flank play, and that he does. Probably going to go for that feint pick. No, decides to run somewhere else. Meanwhile, Blue is starting to push up after those two picks. Capitalize on that.
Nice play by Jufro, running all the way in the last, realizing that Takram was literally alone with a sniper and forcing him. So now Uber advantage for Red. For Blue rather. Red can maybe do a bit of a tentative hold up top over here, but they're gonna have to be really careful because they're at Uber disadvantage. So when Red comes in, they're gonna have to get their medic back if they want to play this aggressive. See if they're gonna be able to do that. I'd really like to see Arch not let them through this particular choke point, but then again, it didn't seem as Uber disadvantage. This is very risky.
Oh, they switched it up, actually. Arch and Takram were in the exact same spot they were last time. They got them in trouble. Just in time, took them around the opposite side, popped Uber, and then chased them out the window. They almost got him. It was very surprising play right there.
Arch and Takram very lucky to get out there. To be honest, I don't really agree with the way they played it. I think once they were caught that far in, they should have gone forward in the front stairs. Jumping up the window was very risky, but it actually ended up working out. So I guess I can't complain. Blue team's trying to push right now, but their medic gets launched. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but actually with Gordy getting that backstab, that's huge.
It's going to help a little, but right now Tiptoe's on the card alone as men trying to get like an arrow on Mafia, who he knows is down on like so low health right now. Just connects with spring rolls and gets out alive, but the Uber advantage is going to be on Ban Paals' side. Sentry's still not been set up, waiting on the NG to get out of spawn.
That was a smart play by Tix, realizing that push wasn't going to work and trying to sack for the red medic instead, but Takram barely gets out with 30 health and gets back into the spawn doors. If someone else had given Tix a little bit of help, I feel like they could have forced the medic there, as they're kind of in an awkward position here right around this corner, but they do have Uber advantage on the red side. I want to see how Blue finally cracks this defense.
For a second it was looking like they want to take it kind of as a more offensive play with that Uber advantage, but right now it's going to be completely nullified as Pyongyang catches up in Uber, and they have a player advantage upstairs as well.
They do push. That's questionable. They did not know where the enemy team's medic was. You can't do that if you don't know where the enemy team's combo is. Like, sure, you might get a couple flank kills, but is it really worth it? And now, yeah, Just-in-Time's going to easily kill the medic. The demo's hurt. He's caught out 40 health. He should not be able to get out of here either.
Just-in-Time chasing. You can get a direct pipe right there.
The
Too many players on blue. And there's no sentry up. 3 players up on red. This is probably going to be Interest tries his best to keep his like MVP status alive. Oh, bombed by Mafio as he attempts to go in and save something, but it's gonna be it.
I feel like that was a bit of a throw by Red at the end, hoovering out for no reason, but still a good time by them, mostly because of that third point hold. I feel like what kept happening with, I guess I should say, Pyongyang's third push is that their flank classes, you know, Ticks, Jufro, maybe Spring Rolls, maybe even their heavy at times, were trying to push the cart very zealously, but their combo had other ideas, and instead of trying to push up a little bit to help them, to give them room, they were just literally waiting in the house until they knew they had Uber. And because of those mixed signals, Red would get a lot of free kills, and then every time Blue finally wanted to make a push, they were at a disadvantage because their cart players were already dead. I felt like if in between the Ubers they at least spammed a little bit and tried to make some room so that Arch could literally walk up to the cart on defense and kill him as demo, you know? I just feel like it was very uncoordinated, like kind of a desync between the Blue combo and the Blue flank.
I'd have to agree. It looked like Interest and Mafia were definitely keeping them busy too. Mafia kept jumping in there, putting out some rockets, and I mean, not even just in that splash area, but kind of on the cart. All.
I have to give some credit to a player I didn't even give credit to originally, which is Feint. He actually got 13 kills, which is the most in the server on that defense.
Wow.
They were in 1s and 2s, so I didn't really notice them, but he must have been killing cart players as well. I mean, if it wasn't a med pick, then it must have been on, you know, one of those flank classes if I didn't notice otherwise. So, good work by him. And let's see if Blue can have a better time than this. Historically, we've been saying yes, because both teams did it the first round.
Mafia jumping and not gonna do much of anything right there. Immediately goes down, but Blue put in some time on the cart.
I don't know if I saw that right, but never mind. Sorry, I don't think I did. Keep going.
Not much, just everyone has a little bit of posturing. 40's kind of sneaking around behind, trying to find where this combo is. They're waiting. They've got Top kind of just waiting in there safely as they get some intel, maybe get a pick before they come out. Maybe they just want to find 40, get him killed before they actually dedicate any players to this.
They did get the gun. Good work by Mafio, adapting what Tix is doing using the D8.
He was running the original effort, so maybe he went in there for a sec, kind of wanted to get something out of it, maybe get some intel.
Really hot by Blue, not a great Uber. Red with a good counter, but plus Napalm takes down the heavy. I feel like, as hard as it is to do, Red should be able to hold this first point for now. They have to be a little careful though. They do have much better help though, as long as they keep Tiptoes alive, and yeah, I think they're going to be able to hold it here.
Yosh really overly aggressive, and Trufo shuts him down and backs away with 30 some odd HP. Love seeing those little 1v1 scouts, and they finally get to find each other in the Chaos of Highlander.
Jufro almost went down in the same place, but lucky he managed to make out. His medic did a good job saving him as we see Blue sort of trying to run around the left side, which would normally be a good play, except they're down so many players already. I think Blue just needs to wait until they have 9 before making these aggressive pushes. I mean, it's fine once you do. But
I think they could do it. Yeah, the Plumber climbed on the playground. He was really pushing them back. If they had kind of coordinated some players over onto the car right, they could have really hit some.
He just killed the medic.
I didn't even see that.
That was really heads-up play by, actually, for what some people might not realize, a very experienced player in Pete the Plumber. He's been around for a long time, just hasn't played in a couple seasons. Spies on the cart, but he does go down. Or, am I wrong? Yeah, he did eventually go down.
He pops back up the top one, going down his Deadbringer right there. That was perfect.
I wish that showed up on Hunts, but Volvo, please.
Yeah,
great work by him.
Really smart position. He knows how to bide his time. He just lays in wait and finds the perfect opportunity. Right now, Pete the Plumber peeking out window. There's no sentry gun to be seen there. Just pushing this cart up. Just back them out of hound.
It's a play by them. I mean, that was a great play by Bordy, but he was pretty much the last player alive on his team, so it's not like the other players on Red could instantly stop the point. However, their flank is coming back out, and they're getting a lot of kills. A little bit of an overextension. I think Blue put the cart before the horse. They thought they had that locked down, but they didn't realize how far away their cart was. They put the horse before the cart, but the cart was not even nearly fully pushed up through the hill when they did that. They are finally going to get this. Red does have actually an Uber advantage. Hopefully they don't use it aggressively unless they're sure that they can get the enemy team's medic. Or at least
he's laying in wait right now, trying to get that Talkrum play. Oh, gets Arch instead. That's definitely a pick worth grabbing. And he manages to get away from Jufro coming and trying to get some meat shots on him. The medic can't quite do it. They're still pushing this card though. They got that point. So looks like Ban Paals are going to have, or Pyongyang going to have a really strong hold right here to kind of match that Ban Paals hold on third.
And we see a bit of a sniper duel going on here. I think if Blue manages to pick the enemy sniper, that's probably their best window into this hold, considering that all 9 players are up for Red and they have their Ubers. So I'd like to see them maybe try to go for that. They are buffing up Feint. They realize how important it is. He does get a nice headshot on Tix. What are they going to do with this? That's the real question. They're not going to be given free picks, so they have to make something happen themselves.
Now boarding in position. Oh, nope, gets by Yosh, who hears that decloak, puts a big meat shot into him, sits on the cart. Looks like Jupro's trying to battle this a little. They need to move up. Right now, interest behind 2 players, backs off smartly as he gets found out, and the Ubers get popped up by both teams. Big air blast onto Arch right now, who throws out a Hail Mary sticky that does not connect as he plummets to his death.
Yeah, Tix actually popped the Conqueror along with the counter Uber, which was longer as well. So not only did they have a better Uber, but they were able to chase down the entire blue team with that Conqueror adjusted speed. So really heads up play by Tix. This is why I loved having him on upward when I played with him on DRS. On your defenses, he always knew how to control the flank, and good job by him. But a bit of an overextension by Napalm and Jupro. Those are big picks actually. So no Scout and Sniper on defense, so you can probably push the cart pretty far for free. And they get the spy, maybe for real, maybe not. I've given up on knowing at this point.
Still alive, going back. That Mafio coming out gets pushed back by that sentry because he put down a half health. But he got a little bit of splash damage out in some players right there, letting Arch kind of push up with a combo on Hill right now. Plumber, or Pete the Plumber, kind of walked forward, takes back in the combo, turns his back, takes a rocket in the face, and he is almost going to go down right now. Uber nearly done by
Part does get capped, and that was really. I was about to say great play by Mafia, which it was, and then he immediately craters. Of course, he falls off the cliff right after I say. The red team Uber was actually forced. I do not know what this is about. This is very questionable play. I don't understand why they wanted to get the Ubers out of the equation instead of holding last with Uber, but as the medic almost goes down, their fate barely misses a shot. But again, really nice play by Mafia. He forced the demo all the way back from that house and then jumped over to the cart and capped it. So nice heads to play by Mafia on the flank, securing his team that 3rd point.
Tix, Pete the Plumber, Tix and Teapot going in that upper right there, trying to get a nice forward hold on those stairs to shut down the combo from getting in the house, and they immediately go down. That's going to allow for them to push up. This is going to be a really quick time right here.
This should be a situation where Blue says, okay, we have a full 4.5 minutes to get this, so let's do it methodically. Let's see, can we force them out from up top? Can we spam them out? Right now, Arch is doing some decent damage, forcing the red team back. Can he get them out of there? That's the question. He has good positioning still. I think Takram has to commit to healing him. I think he's a lot more important than the heavy right now, but it looks like instead they're going to take their Uber underneath, or no, they're going around to the front stairs. What can you do with this Uber?
That's a good question. Right now they've got 4 players in the upper right now, and they've just been pushing the cart over there on Ban Paals the entire time.
Way too early. That was a very questionable pop again. Arch was still almost at full health. I don't understand that decision. But Pete the Plumber, just to pick a couple players trying to chase lower, that's pretty huge as well. They retake up top with their numbers. I'd like to see if they can.
Kind of uncommon to see a fight going on down there. First, I thought we were going to see people butting heads, some players bleeding away, but they wisely backed up. And they're going to get those spawns up immediately right now. All they have is the sentry at like half health. Yosh jumping in, taking out Jufra right as he comes out of spawn. He's getting forced back. They've got players on the cart right now. They still have 3 to do this, and they're just on it.
Yosh gets the medic. And he's going for the pyro. He's going to get him too. Arch helps out. This should be a round for Blue, and it looks like we're going to the tiebreaker round.
Yeah, I think you may have been right with this prediction of yours.
Oh, we'll see if I get the team right. I got the score right at least, which I only had a 50% chance of doing in Payload. So I will say this. You know who I actually think was the MVP of that last round? I'm gonna give it to Pete the Plumber. He had some really crucial plays as heavy. That first point he got the medic, and then almost every point out. I mean, at last heads up play holding underneath. The other teams were trying to the players on red, Tix and Spring Rolls were trying to flank, and he takes them down, and then he had a really good takeover of up top. The stats sort of bear me out. He did a lot better than the other heavy, but it's still heavy, so it's not great. But Yosh looks like Yosh is coming to his own. He actually went 23 and 14 in that round, top fragging, and I believe a lot of those kills came in the second half. Actually, no, I'm completely wrong. He got 17. Yeah, he got 17 kills in the first half of that round, and just really nice play by Yosh. He also got 8 spy kills, which is pretty heads up play, keeping that spy down. Much better round overall from the blue team. I think they were much more coordinated. They integrated their ringer more. They made use of Pete the Plumber, who I think is kind of the better heavy in this matchup. He actually, looking at the heal stats, he only got 15% heals that round. Even his Pyro got 20. So to make those flank plays as heavy on this map, I think kind of flank heavy is most useful on Payload because while your demo is taking Ubers, you can help secure the cart. Because oftentimes, the red team's flank will get too aggressive, when trying to stop the cart from capping, and if they suddenly get surprised by a heavy there, it can be all over. So really, really nice play by Pete the Plumber.
Definitely, I love seeing that forward aggression kind of on that top playground. I saw it coming. I'm like, is he really going to do this? And I slowly inched his way up, step after step, and I got that pick up. He was just turning the heads and allowing the card time as well. So,
and to bring up one of my favorite stats again, which is NG deaths. This time, Yip Yapper only got 3 deaths, whereas Luxor got 12. I'm telling you, that's like as good a barometer of payload success as the medic deaths are, to be honest. I mean, if your engineer is always dead, then it's not like you can lose a point gracefully and set up at the next one. You know, you just start bleeding points in a row, and that's what's really important on payload. You know, is to get every point that you take. You know, you want to immediately transition it into, if not the next one, at least like getting close enough to contest the next one more easily. But you know, if you cap 2, let's say, and then you're still just stuck in the house, not able to siege the 3rd point, well, it's a big deal. So really good work by their engineer for staying alive so much, and it's going to be intense, I suppose. I'm glad to see a close match. My first time casting the season.
One other little thing on the stats is kind of impressive is that how on par both the snipers are. I think the only 2 kill differential, and those were made up by assists, actually, so it's like almost the exact same. 13 deaths on either of them.
I would say so far that neither of them has completely taken over the game the way that we know a sniper can nowadays, but neither of them is slumping at the same time either. Both of them are doing their job, and both of them, I think, have had fairly smart positioning. You know, they know in certain situations when they have to, you know, get a buff and make some room for their team, because sometimes if it looks like a defense is too hard to crack, the best thing to do is to give your sniper 185 and let him walk around a corner aggressively. So, I mean, I like the way both teams played that round a lot better, with the exception of the 3rd point push from pyongyang, and I think that's what cost them ultimately.
I have to agree. One thing we haven't seen so far is it's been all been the guns. Would you like to see a switch up on that? Every now and then I like to run crits on this if I have like the perfect spawn time for it.
I feel like on blue it can be very useful. I think it can be very useful pushing last. It requires a lot of faith in your flank to put a lot more pressure on the gun than you would otherwise, though. It can be very effective, but I don't know, I'm sure there were times that warranted it. I wasn't really paying attention. It can be pretty useful. I think that you could also always, if there's very little time left on defense, switch to crits or even quick fix to try to have a clutch defense as on the last point, which is always useful as well. But yeah, crits has its moments on this map. It's very situational, but...
Which is a thought that crossed my mind, since we haven't seen the best Ubers out of either of these teams. Maybe it's just not enough coordination, or just there's too much going on.
I understand why the solo Ubers aren't going to be good, because if it's Uber v Uber, you Uber your demo, he has to go in and try to get a level 3 wrangled gun that isn't sapped and then a pyro air blast him, you know. But I do feel like both teams had more of an opportunity to bring their more aggro flank classes into Ubers when they had advantage. You know, once they got the gun, you know, flash the scout and soldier near the end and have them chase some frags. And I feel like with Ubers, a lot of times they had solo Ubers on demo. This is kind of a little mini rant, but a beef I have with a lot of Highlander teams. They get so used to these like big demo solo Ubers just to get guns that sometimes, if you watch a Sixes team, you know, they'll always take a scout and aggressive with Ubers to chase down kills. Well, that's perfectly viable in Highlander as well.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like these teams could really have more aggressive Ubers. So
yeah, with Yosh and Jufro, they have been doing some major damage. I think that it wasn't Yosh like top fragging at the beginning of the last round.
Yeah, and crucially, you know, they did so without tons of heals, which, you know, maybe on Payload it's a lot harder than, say, a King of the Hill map to really give your scout like as many buffs as you would otherwise. But I do think each of them, they've earned themselves a little more 185, a little more invulnerability. So, and I think it did feel like Yosh was getting more heals near the end, or at least maybe it only felt that way because he got so many kills. But just an important note, actually, since we've gone live in the 3rd round, Luxor is actually running minis on the red defense. So I think this can be viable on the first 2 points because they're so hard to hold anyways. I think that it gets very unviable on the last couple points. So we have to see not only A, can he make it work on this point, but B, is he going to switch off at the right time, you know, when it's no longer good.
Definitely curious on how it's going to play out. Sigurd was talking about how he likes running that on this first point at least. At that second point, I feel you almost have to run that level 3, but maybe times have changed. I haven't been Highlander actively in the season for quite a few.
Well, the strat on the second point, if you're running minis, is you have to be aggressive and have the minis kind of near the card rather than playing all the way around the corner. So it depends on if their team can, like we've said before, transition. If their team gets forced all the way back when they lose first, then he has to switch off, right? So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, we could see more of a forward hold on second, too.
It looks like Blue is slowly inching their way out. No suicides yet, actually. Their demo is not suiciding. He's only walking his way out.
Kind of surprised. Arch throwing out some stickies, getting a little bit of damage. It looks like Interest is just going all the way back right now. Take out that teleporter. as Melon's just pushing up on the card. Solo Pyro, Air Blast, and some getting a little bit of damage out of it just in time to go pick up a health back. But before Melon goes down to a big body shot by Napalm, who's pretty much on fire already. Trying to delete the sniper pick.
It is possible that Blue knows it's a mini sentry and therefore they're not sacking for the gun because they feel they don't have to, but I would like to see Arch, for his team's sake, try to get that mini a couple times, give his flank some room. Mafia got it instead, but yeah, if that mini is just sitting there on the flank, as Napalm gets domed by Bane, which is a really important pick on this point, and now I'd like to see them try to get ground without being forced yet. If the other team's sniper is dead, and Bane gets the demo, this is huge. And Blue actually gets popped first, as Fate gets spring rolls as well. This is really nice play by Fate, the spy mate coming in.
A big surprise, nice aggression by Blue. I didn't imagine they were even going to need a pop, that they had just the player advantage in the position-wise with something must have scared them off. Oh god, he's into it. Putting some body damage out on a
And Fate got tiptoes!
I don't... Excellent combo right there. It's amazing brick right there.
I thought Tiptoes was going to get out. He barely didn't, and Fate gets spring rolls as well. This is... And 40, okay.
These snipers are on fire right now. I think that they heard me make a comment, because they are both on top of their game.
I think the two pick classes on our good friends Ban Paals, Feint and Interest, have gotten like 80-90% of the kills for their team this round so far. And ultimately, it's going to lead them to having the first 2 points basically for free. I mean, this is one of the fastest times I've ever seen for these first 2 points. It's not the round over immediately. It's 2 minutes for the first 2 points. That's not... The round isn't over yet. Red needs to reset their mindset. They need to calm down. They have basically even Ubers, even a slight advantage holding this third. It's not impossible.
Pyongyang, they're holding house, it looks like. Napalm's still in that spawn. Oh, Sentry's gonna go down.
Interest getting Teapot. That's a big pick right there. How does Blue use this? Can they take ground? Can they move up, get some players on that top platform? As Napalm, that's questionable. Going for the back spawn pick, or the pick in the forward spawn, which he was still in. I don't know if I agree with it.
Interesting. Trying to push uphill, like, oh, a lot of splash damage. Back from down to like 6,000 people.
Was that crits? That was crits!
Oh, very nice. Akram sneaks out of there, manages to escape. They only like 2 or 3 health, but finally goes back, edging back towards that respawn. I'm happy to change. And it'd be so powerful. We're seeing teams constantly try and get up that hill right there and take splash damage. So hey, why not make it a crit splash damage?
Barely good.
40 was waiting up there for like a good minute.
That was a really nice crits play, and in theory they should have gotten the medic because he did take a ton of damage, maybe even got hit by a tiny bit of a crit sticky. I'm not sure.
You get lucky.
And he does have full Uber advantage now. What Red needs to do is to force him early, kite back, because they're actually about to get their second crits. They do lose their heavy. They can't afford to lose like anyone else, and Tix is buying time for them to get out with this Conqueror, but they can't lose too many more people. This is actually really good. They're about to get crits again, and Arch goes down, and they held them off. Is it worth them? I think they shouldn't have even used it there, honestly. That was actually a bit of a mistake because they already forced the enemy team so far out, and just in time, feeling he has to go super aggressive, walks right into a sniper sight line. So, bit of a beef, not having enough faith in their own defensive crits, but
maybe they know that they can actually charge it up before this Uber actually gets charged up by the blue team. This is kind of impressive.
The only problem is Just in Time was still dead, so the blue team got so much free cap time without a demo to worry about. Just in Time is coming in from drop down, but can he get out for free, or looks like his team's falling back because Just in Time can't even get out into the fight.
Kind of a surprise this team isn't holding as strongly on this third point as they have in the past couple rounds, so maybe plays change. Just really big plays by Feint really is really what it's come down to, getting those med pick.
Their first crits was really good, but when your medic lives after that, you have to commit to not having one good crits, you have to have multiple good crits, and their second one was disastrous, so... And Tiptoes actually just went down! I'm trying to look at who killed him because I completely missed that. It was actually Interest with an Ambassador body shot. Interesting. But, yeah, full Uber advantage for Blue. Let's see what they can do with...
Tix goes down as the blue team starts piling up in the upper lobby right now. Just in time, alone up there without his medic. Okay, there we go. They finally connect. Jupro up there as well, completely overhealed. And, oh, they've rotated down below. I think that they sussed out that play. Uber comes up out the stair. Tiptoe's trying to get out, getting chased. Goes for a quick little butter knife stab. It's going to give it blue team position.
The medic, is the medic going to get out here? Barely gets out. Nice play by Yosh, slaying Teapot with his broadsword as Teapot was eating a sandwich in the corner, and I think this the question is, Red just got all their spawns. Can they get on the card in time, or can Blue keep their momentum? But I think Red's barely gonna get out of here in time, but Mafio, huge bomb, getting just in time and tick. Oh, that's gonna be really cool.
That's not look good for them. Combo is alive.
Is Uber, can they get to the card in time?
Just barely. Medic barely survives. Picks up a med kit, I should say. Mafio going in, trying to get some damage, but can't quite do it.
His fate continues to rattle out the headshots. Wow.
Leading Red Jupro throwing himself on it, just in time throwing some sticks on, but hitting the average. Oh, nearly gets up there, just in time barely saving it. But only 2 players up right now. I doubt anyone's gonna be able to pull from the Flux or throwing out Shoddy. That is it.
That was a much faster time than we've seen recently.
I thought they were gonna cut off. That was like almost, I think, 2 minutes up there.
A lot of nice plays by Paint. I really have to give him the MVP of that half round by a mile. As I believe he's sitting at 11 kills with Mafio actually at 10. He had some nice plays as well. I felt like, I hate to call people out, but I felt like Teapot on Red, the heavy, kept getting picked up. He would be way ahead of his team, fully revved up, and he would get sniped or stabbed or even killed by just an Uber so often. And I don't really agree with that play. So I feel like what Red needed to do in that round was keep themselves from bleeding so many players either before an Uber or to an Uber when they didn't have to. And I mean, this is the moment of truth, you know. If Pyongyang can't cap in 6 minutes, you know, they have an incentive, you know, they know their match is on the line, they see the time in front of them, they see the big number 6 minutes and 3 seconds, they know that they have to do this now. So the question is, can they make it happen? Can they get on a roll?
It's going to be tough. It's doable though. This team has the players to do so. But it's like a minute, it's like 90 seconds off their previous time. They just need to find the confidence and make some plays happen right now. Looks like they're going to leave Tiptoes behind. They go try and sack in some player. Tick's throwing out some rockets like he has in the past, taking that sentry down to half health. So they move Teapot up. I guess you've said a little bit without the combo right now. It's like they're maybe calling Tiptoes out. Now Tiptoes just throwing us some heals as just in time starts trying to put some stickies down. Oh god, Sentry went down to about 10 health right there before it got saved by the Rescue Ranger.
Tick's taking off the parachute to dodge a long-range air shot, and the Uber gets forced really early from Blue here. This is not an ideal Uber. The counter was much better.
Sentry, though.
They did, and the counter Uber, they just did not punish the red team because they didn't flash anyone other than Arch, and now Blue got, oh, this is going to be great for Blue. They got onto that right side for free. Once you let the enemy team into right for free, look, they're chasing them out. Takram might get out here. I think he's going to, but I mean, it's on Jufro. Oh no, Jufro's, yeah, Jufro and Tix. Tix with an amazing air shot with BH. Jufro is still chasing, and you know, that Enchi with just the Rescue Ranger, he's no match either.
Jufro has been on fire this round. He was on only was a 2K put on without damage, like kill 3 other players, said that damage not being. Like, he was putting meat shot after meat shot, people chasing people down relentlessly. It's going to definitely give them a step up, foot up, I should say, on this hold as they're sticking in patio right now. They're not going to let them sit up at all.
And I feel like Pyongyang's questionable defense really put some fire under their tusses. So now they're, you know, they're going ham, man. They're going to get the second point at pretty much an equal pace as the last game, actually faster. I believe this is going to be about 1 minute and 40 seconds that they cap this in, barring some sort of spy 3K on the card. And, I may have jinxed it, but, you know, it's still going to be a very fast time for the first point.
Idris jumps down, but no, T-Bots turns around just in time. So Blue still has Uber advantage. There.
Blue still has Uber advantage. Red has to be careful. Can't get caught out too close to the car. They have to force this Uber early, but not die in the process. It's not easy. They have to rely on their pyro a lot and on the spam from their demo man. Can they do it? Can they force Tiptoes early? If Tiptoes gets forced, this is the problem. They take a solo Uber again. I don't understand why you take a solo Uber when your advantage is that big. And look, their Uber doesn't accomplish that much.
Surprisingly, I thought that they may have been just in a position with that sentry a little bit more forward with by Yip Yapper than in previous holds, but this is where Ban Paals needs to put their foot down and really hold this. They've got 3.5 more minutes or so. Teapot kind of sneaking up, but as you said, kind of separated from the combo right now.
It just gets the medic.
That's gonna help save Ban Paals, definitely.
Oh
no! Both medics go down. Topper goes down. Who got that napalm with them taking much in a body shot?
That was horrible play. It was a free Uber for Red. They just had to pop. The blue medic was down. They could pop for free and kill everyone. He nukes it while walking into a sniper sight and he gets fully charged Makata shot. Oh my god.
They're getting a free card push right now by Pyongyang, I should say. And this is exactly what they needed. I can't. I'm kind of at all right now. That was gonna be so close, but this has opened the doors for a more coordinated. They can play this slow, they can play this smart, and really kind of get in there, just charge up their Uber, which they have a slight negligible advance.
I need to talk to my psychiatrist, man. I shouldn't get this emotional over a game I'm not even playing in, but oh my god.
Just in time and taking the scheme up the wood step, but decided to back out and sees some Mafia.
He got it again!
Plumber, he is making heavies right now rejoice around the world. Heavies do not get plays like this often. This is really nice to see.
He's connecting bullets, but not like a plumber.
Window gets 2 direct rockets on Takmu, goes down. That is going to help them out so much. They are making all the right plays, all the right moments right now.
Not only did Tix kill the medic, but he ruined my terrible plan at the same time. Beautiful play. Anyways, let's see if Blue can push in right now. They could wait for Uber, or they could go on this medic pick. I'd like to see them try to get a little bit of damage in, but, you know, waiting for Uber isn't the worst decision in the world here. They have full 2 minutes. Nice play by Mafio, if he gets out especially, killing the sniper on the cart. This is what Red needs to do. The time is getting low enough that they really need to spam the cart a bit. If they keep players off the cart, then Interest gets themselves again! How do you let that happen? You know you have an advantage just for your back to a wall! Oh my god.
Right there, too. They should have seen that coming. One of the key players in this game.
I think my heart rate just tripled.
This is one of the most action I've ever seen on Hogwarts. I'm loving this. Right now, see, we've got some people in the car. Luxor just sneaking at that. And the Tifa rounds the corner, so it's putting some damage on them. Goes down.
This is gonna be a blue round. They got the engineer and the sentry. Barring froze, this should be a blue round. They need to get on this demo, and they're gonna get this blue round. Like you called it, and that's gonna be the match to pyongyang 2-1. I got it right.
You did. So
I made a prediction.
So did the viewers on Saluda. Yeah, that was quite the exciting last round. I'm really happy they picked up. We haven't seen too extraordinary of a time, but damn, was that I was not even to the hair. They had a minute of free time after that. That was amazing. They knew what they had to do and they got it done. And stats have just been linked to us. Let's take a look at these.
This is again from the 3rd round, and I mean, you could see how big of an impact Feint was making for his team. Not only did he get 15 kills, but he got the most damage on his team that round. He got twice the headshots of Napalm, although Napalm was running the Machina, so that's not necessarily a knock against him. But on the other side, you saw big plays by Jufro. And frankly, I feel like even though they're still technically at the bottom of the deaths for the most parts, both medics, I feel like, died way too often in that last little bit of time. I mean, looking at the stats, Takram on the losing team only had 4 Ubers in the entire last 2 rounds, or the last 2 halves of the last round combined. Tiptoes had 6, but he also had the crits factoring, and so let's say basically 5, you know? So essentially both medics they got picked way too often in that last little exchange. I mean, Interest and Feint alone were responsible for for 5 of the 6 deaths that Tiptoes got in that last round, with Pete the Plumber being the last one, actually.
Big Pete.
That's just... I feel like it got really exciting towards the end because it came down to so many aggressive non-Uber plays simply because both medics were dying so often, which, you know, makes for great viewing, but I have to question it. Ultimately, it's tough to pick an MVP. I think so many players in this game were so even.
Yeah.
I feel like on the defensive team, it would have to be Feint, but, you know, or Interests. The pick class is keeping them in the game. But their team lost, so it's really hard to give it to them, you know. I did like the cut of Tix's jive a couple times, made some nice plays. Ultimately, Just in Time had some very good calls, but I'm sorry, man. I hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I got kind of distracted by all the medic picks in the last two minutes of that game or so, and I just felt like eventually, if both the medics and, let's be honest, the engineers as well are going down so much, eventually it's going to favor Blue with their spawn waves. You know, they can just Zerg in, and, you know, they managed to win it at the end, but both teams really have to work on keeping their medic alive, especially when they know the other team has to go for their medic, you know, when they have an advantage, when the other team has to stop them, you know. Really have to be a little more careful in those situations.
For me, I'd have to give it a big old Pete the Plumber, because we never ever shout out the heavies in these gas. They never get the MVP. And he had 2 medic picks, one at first and one like nearing last. So
yeah,
wasn't luck, just great positioning, great game sense. So I got to throw it out to our heavies. Just give them a little nod for the first time this season.
And I hate to say it, but it's difficult to shout out Pete the Plumber without calling out Teapot a little bit, because yes, actually, flank heavy in certain situations could be more rewarding than like a very passive pocket heavy, where your demo is still taking the majority of the Ubers, and you have to basically just play bodyguard. But at the same time, you look at the stats and you see that not only did he get so many med picks, but he got better kill deaths than the opposing heavy. He did about equal or better damage. He took much less damage, and he took way fewer heals. Yeah. So it was really like he found positionings to be effective. He knew that he could play in positions where the other team wasn't expecting a heavy to be there. They were thinking, there's going to be an enemy soldier here, enemy pyro, nothing I can't deal with, and then a heavy comes around the corner, and he was very effective. You could tell he knew his way around this map. So definitely props to him. But again, it's weird to see so many outstanding players on the losing team, but ultimately their actual Uber pushes and coordination just were a little bit worse. So I think that's definitely something they can fix with time.
Well, once again, we had another exciting week here for UGC Highlander on EVLTV. Join us next week. We have some of the most unexpected plays, unexpected wins the past couple weeks, so it's going to be exciting. Tune in with us. Check us out on Twitter, guys. And once again, thank you, Mustard Overlord, for joining us. Dashner on production, the man behind the camera whispering into our ears some helpful advice. Take care, guys.